Okay.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Racing Magpie's Winter Camp series. Today's show, we have Hannah Roubideaux, Miss Sicangu Lakota Nation, who represents in the Wacipi circle here. So a little bit about Racing Magpie's Winter Camp program. It's kind of goes back to the Lakota Winter Camp model of problem solving and community building. Basically just the concept of being a good relative. You know, I think the pandemic really showed a lot of us how we need to help each other out. We have to be good relatives to all our people. It doesn't matter what indigenous tribe you're from, that we've lost so many cultural bearers and knowledge keepers, the way the pandemic has hit our native population. So this is just a model of that. Guys, if you missed today's show, you can always go on Racing Magpie's YouTube channel and see a rebroadcast of that. So let's take it off with Hannah. I just want to say before, when we were on a little break before this show, we were out in the parking lot of Racing Magpie, and Don Montelo shows up, which is really cool. Those of you who don't know who Don Montelo is, he's this renowned ledger artist, and we were just learning some history in the parking lot, and Hannah got to finally meet Don Montelo, and the look on her face, it was like, you know, that's what's cool about working with programs like this, with organizations like Racing Magpie, just in our indigenous world, you know, young artists like Hannah can meet the Don Montelos and just have a conversation about art. That's what we were talking about up there. And it was just, for me, kind of being in between both generations. This is why we do the work that we do, so we can have our elders talk to the youth and just have this mutual respect and understanding, and it's art that kind of brought it about too, you know. So how are good meeting Don Montelo? Oh, good. Are you a fan of his work? So Hannah is, and you're older than Rosebud, right? Yeah. Yeah, she's from Rosebud, the Sicangu Nation, but Hannah's been immersed in the cultural arts and the cultural performing arts since you were pretty young, right? Yeah. Well, she's still young now, but since she's a little girl, and she's a diverse cultural artist. She made a lot of her regalia that she has here, and she does a lot more other things. So I kind of let her talk about what she does. First of all, introduce yourself.
Harder woman, and my English name is Roubideaux. And I'm also known as Miss Rosebud 2022 and 2023.
But prior to that, she also represented her other tribe, which is
I also represented Crow Creek, and I was Miss Crow Creek for 2019 and 2021, I think. Yeah, that was a fun experience. And yeah.
so how did kind of first off, how was it different representing a tribe through the pandemic versus kind of now where it's easing up and you can go to an in-person event?
It wasn't really that much powwows like during the pandemic, and it was kind of a little bit harder to find powwows to represent Miss Crow Creek, but I got it done, and I was able to represent my Crow Creek title in a good way, and also same with my Miss Rosebud title.
So let's kind of, before we dive into your artwork, I guess, for those of you who don't know, in the social part of our culture, we refer to as like the young ladies who represent our tribes are considered the royalty. So they don't just get to put on a crown and a sash because they're part of that tribe and they want to do it. There's also a process that they have to do once they decide to make this commitment to represent their tribe in public events, because it's not just powwow, it's other events too. So can I talk a little bit about that process that you have to take once you decide, oh, I want to represent my tribe?
It's a fun process, and with my Miss Crow Creek title, that was one of my first titles, and it was changing to see to view the powwows a different way through royalty, and it was good. And I like it, and yeah.
So do you have to fill out an application? Do they do interviews?
Yeah, you have to do, there's like a whole process. So one of the main things that I had to get done to represent, to do for my Miss Crow Creek title was get my Lakota name. And the year prior before that, I was able to receive my Lakota name. And there's also a lot of rules and procedures in being royalty, like to be able to represent your tribe in a good way, and yeah, like.
So the rules and guidelines, give us one, what do you have to do?
So with my Miss Rosebud title, I was I'm not supposed to. One of the main rules that I'm not supposed to have a boyfriend. I'm not supposed to take care of other children. I'm not supposed to smoke or drink. I'm not, not put myself in a bad image, and I'm supposed to be in a good image. And
So having a boyfriend puts you in a bad image? No.
no, not what I mean, but
Just distractions, right?
yeah, distractions.
Or what they consider
Yeah,
distracted. And the others, because you have to think of yourself as a role model, right?
yeah. Yeah, think about the youth and all this and that, and it's cool. Some kids, they always oh wow, you're a princess, and I'm like, yeah.
I really am.
Yeah.
So, also besides powwows, where would you go, like here in Rapid City, to represent your tribe?
So what I did so far was I think it was the walk or whatever, the walk to Susan for the children for the
Oh, okay.
memorial. I did part of that, and then I also did L&I, so the grand entries L&I, and then I helped welcome in the teams, and then right now, I'm here.
So when, are there organizations or places that reach out to you and want you to come and do things too?
Yeah, back in Rosebud, they did an honoring of the veterans dinner, and one of the organizers, Sherry, she called me, and I was like, okay, well, we're gonna go, and we helped honor the veterans for Veterans Day, and that was good.
So do you have to get up and do public speaking too?
Yeah, some days you have to do public speaking, and
Is that hard for you? Hannah's a really soft tempered, doesn't talk too much or too loud. So for the public speaking part, is that more difficult for you, or once you get up there, it's just kind of?
So at first it was kind of difficult for me, but then now I'm slowly getting to the groove, and it's fun. It's fun to see it and be able to public speak, and yeah.
Nice. So, for those of you viewers who don't know the history either, Hannah is a descendant from Katie, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, when she was a little girl, she was in that famous photograph. I don't know who the photographer was.
Well, I'm not sure either.
Do you have a picture of it? Sometimes I see it on a postcard.
No, I don't have a picture of it. Yeah, but it's cool to see, and it's amazing to see like the history and like where we all came from. I really like that.
Nice, and you're also a senior this year. What are your plans after you graduate?
I want to focus more on learning like the language, and, learning our history, because I think that's cool to know like where we come from and what we used to like, how we survived without the modern age. Like,
Nice.
I want to learn more and be part of that.
Oh, and the name was Katie Blue Thunder Roubideaux, and she's on a book. I can't remember who that photographer was. I don't want to say it was Curtis, but it might have been. Yeah, so, and Hannah, like I said, she's an artist too, so, back to you wanting to get more into the, language and culture. Do you plan to teach?
Yeah, I mean, that'd be cool, to teach our youth, teaching our youth to like open up their own little creativity and, be excited for them and help them learn.
For me, when you say the youth, I think of you as, the next generation of becoming, but definitely go be a teacher. Those of you who might know me know that I come from a teaching background, and we need more language teachers, more culture bearers in the classroom teaching things like this. Because otherwise, without that, our kids, a lot of them, going back to what I said earlier, is they don't have the access that I had when I was younger. Growing up here in Rapid City, did you have a lot of access to the cultural arts or knowledge keepers and things like that? In the classroom, did they incorporate it, or was it more out?
I want to say more outside, but yeah, like more outside. But in my freshman year, I took a language class, and one of my teachers was Harriet Brings, and she kind of opened up and encouraged me to like continue to dance and continue to sing and play hand games and stuff like that, with involving more in our culture.
Yep, Hannah, back when I used to teach, I had a little hand game team, and Hannah and her sister Connor would always come support my little team, because we were just starting out. They were real young, my team, and so they would come and help the girls sing and support us when we would have hand game competitions out here in Rapid. So thank you very much for doing that for my former students. I know they really appreciated learning from you girls too. So before the show started, talking to Hannah about, she makes her own regalia, and she also is a seamstress, and so she made her own ribbon skirt. Show everybody your ribbon skirt. But she kind of looped it back around too to just trial and error. I was telling her, I was like, oh, I don't like to sew, and she's like, just it's trial and error. Just try it and keep going, and if you make mistakes, get over it and do it. She said, you just have to do it. But she made her own. Shall we show them your?
Yeah.
This is trade cloth, right?
Yeah.
Kind of talk to us about what inspired you to make this and the process. It's cowrie shells.
What inspired me to make this was because at first it was plain, and I was like, oh well, I'm gonna decorate it. I'm gonna make it look pretty and nice. And so that's what encouraged me to make this dress. And it's also nice to have like a dress, a nice dress, like carrying shawl and wear and stuff like that.
Did you do research behind women's traditional?
Yeah, it did. And like seeing like back then and how the dances, the different meaning of the dances was pretty cool. And same with like
And then down at the bottom, she has some brass and silver and some elk teeth down here. Nice. Did you sew? How long did it take you to sew it?
So after the dress, like I only decorated the really decorated it, but this dress was sewn by somebody else in January, one of my old Academy members.
Oh, nice.
And then I just decorated it, but I do sew my other dresses. And
So these cowrie shells, they come in a big bag or did you have to buy them?
yeah, they came in a big bag, like we found a folk or whatever. My mom found them, so.
You see that? So going back to like the history of women's traditional dresses, cowrie shell, and like sometimes you'll see Dentilian shell capes, those came through our our tribes down here through intertribal trading. You know, we had these routes of trading before contact with the Europeans, before they came over into our land. So that's kind of a little history behind that. We traded with other tribes. The cowrie shells, the Antillean shells came from the northwest coast. And I think sometimes we got to remember that we had systems in place before contact with Europeans. Our indigenous peoples were very smart and had all these panels. And when you can see it in kind of the history also of the clothing of our people too. So just a quick little history lesson on that.
We have a question on Zoom from Missy. She asked, think you'll ever make a buckskin dress? And if so, where would you try to seek out how to cut and get it started?
Yeah, my mom wants me to attempt to make a buckskin dress, and how I would attempt, I would ask relatives, you know, like to help me with that process, because I honestly don't know how like the process of making a buckskin dress, but that's one of my goals. And same with the beaded top and everything. That's one of my goals.
Future goals. For those of you that don't know, buckskin is very, very expensive. So are you gonna start from finish, like have someone kill the elk and then you'll scrape it? Or are you just gonna? That would be nice, just to really learn from the beginning all the way to the end, you know?
Well, I heard that like they said it takes about like 6 hides to make a buckskin dress. Like gold fringe and everything, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Elk hides, deer hides?
I don't know. I think it would be probably elk hides.
Yeah.
Cause I think deer hides, they're more like stretchy or something.
The buckskin has a little more give in it. That would be cool. If anybody ever wants to think of that idea, do traditional women's wear class and from the beginning to the end, buckskin. Also, buckskin's really heavy too. Hannah is a traditional dancer. Have you ever been any other form of dancing or just traditional?
When I first started dancing, I did attempt fancy, but and then eventually I switched to traditional, and I really like traditional because like knowing the history behind traditional, the women's traditional dancing, I really like it. And my mom's like, oh, it's really soothing for you, really works for you. So yeah.
Suits your personality. You know who was in here yesterday at the artist market? Bev.
Really?
Yes, I'm going to you. Bev is a champion. Bev Larby is a really, I'm just in admiration of her. And as soon as I was like, Bev Larby. But she's a champion traditional dancer that I kind of grew up in the power arena, really admiring even her regalia, just the gracefulness of traditional dancing.
And like everybody's like different ideas, and like when you see their dresses, their history, their like it's amazing, like it's cool.
Yeah, and I probably scared her, like, Dorothy. And I heard, have you seen her new regalia too? It's like a sky blue, trade cloth with pennies
Oh, really?
on it, I think.
I think I seen that one.
So have you ever, do you think it's in the works too, if you ever do all parfleche?
Parfleche,
Painted parfleche? Yeah,
Um,
because there's still kind of going back to that more traditional
yeah.
form.
So I think my sister wanted to make me like a little parfleche breastplate, but we didn't get the chance to do that yet, but maybe in the future we would.
Right. So parfleche is, like rawhide, probably not as tough, but it's one of our more traditional forms of our, before the beads came, you know, our beads came in about the 1800s, through trade with the French first, and then the Europeans came and we incorporated it into our culture because it was a little easier than porcupine quill. Do you know how to quill?
I know some, but I'm still learning, and it's a pretty big process, and learning how to dye and like sort the quills and all of that. Like it's a really big process.
It is. I don't know if you knew my mother-in-law, Pearl Clone,
Oh, really?
but she's the quill work artist over in Roubideaux, and my ex, we would tell him that we needed a few porcupines, so he would go trap with some, and she's the one who taught me how to, we skinned a porcupine on our kitchen table with utility knives. And I happened to be pregnant with one of my children at the time, and soon as we started skinning that porcupine, like just the must. So if you're ever gonna skin a porcupine, viewers, if you're ever gonna skin a porcupine on your kitchen table with utility knives, porcupines are so musky smelling. As soon as that smell hit me, I went throwing up. And you kind of get, I don't think I ever got used to the smell after butchering porcupine. Still, but I still remember it because that was the first time. And then my mother-in-law, she's like, smell that. And I'm in the midst of me throwing up, I was like, oh yeah, and I throw up again. She's like, smells like money. But she used everything of the porcupine, the hair, the claws, and then she taught me how to salt it.
Oh, really?
So we salt and curated, hung it on her clothesline fence for days. And those of you who've ever driven by Pearl Cologne's house and on the hill there in Morgrew, really grew accustomed to seeing all those porcupine hides hanging from her clothesline. But yeah, and, you know, and just the preparation. But if you ever need tips, I can help you. I can't buy porcupine quills because I'm got so spoiled to having the pick of my own. But it is, even if it's just roadkill, you can put a blanket or if you ever have an extra blanket in your vehicle, or even a towel or a shirt. And if you don't want to touch the mangled roadkill, you can just throw the material on there and pull it off. Keep doing that until you get as much quill as you want. So there's a little tip for me if you can't go kill a porcupine and skin it yourself. But definitely always, you know, for me, and I think other older artists too, like it's really encouraging to see the youth pick up on this and that they want to do it and put in the time and the patience and the discipline, the self-discipline it takes, even just to adorn your regalia. It takes time. How much time did it take you to do this?
I would say like a day and a half. Like,
Well, I'm not that fast, but
well, just like, well,
just
to
get
put
in the
it
zone.
together, put it together, but like the process of how you want to look and how you like whenever I make my dresses, I want to do like research. I want to sit there and I want to sit there. Oh, I want this and this and this, and it takes like I would say like a month to like figure out what you want on the dress, because that's like how I am. I just can't like, oh well, I'm just gonna put it all on there.
Yeah. What do you ever, like, if you don't know something or you kind of get stuck on something and don't know the answer to, do you call people to reach out to and kind of ask your questions?
Yeah, sometimes like with my like the placements or whatever, like I would ask like, oh, like ask different friends, like, oh, like how did you make yours? And like they'll give me tips or stuff like that. And then yeah, it just
Right. So not only does she do this, she does beadwork, so she did her beadwork for her regalia as well.
so this one is my like little medicine pouch and everything. And I have little bells and strings and things.
And I was asking Hannah, since I don't know how to, I'm old school, I do peyote stitch. So like for me, a real long piece like this would probably take me forever to peyote stitch. So I told her, I said, I don't know how to do wrap yet. Can you teach me how to do wrap? I don't know. I get frustrated. And she said, just do it. But hopefully one of these days she's gonna teach me how to wrap.
Yeah. And then my first attempt at making a knife pouch or whatever. So that has the exact same thing on there. And then whenever so I pay attention to like the designs or whatever. So this on the back is gonna be like right there and right here, and you can see like the purple goes together.
Oh, nice.
So there's those, there's my back. And then I don't have all my beadwork right now because I left a bag, but this is gonna have to do. And then I have my arm cuffs right here. And I also did the exact same thing. Where like the inside of the dragonfly, it's like purple, and then the outer is like blue. So there's that. And then I have my little baby moccasins that I made. These ones I really like. 'Cause they're so small.
Right. So where do you place these when you put your regalia?
I put them just right beside, right here by my bed.
Okay,
That's where I put them.
nice. And did these take very long when you first started them?
Yeah, because like it was my first time making them, and it was just a learning process. And like the first side, it was a big, huge learning process. And then once I got to my second one, then it was much more quicker since I knew what I was gonna be doing.
Like the donkey and the unicorn. I always have a donkey and a unicorn.
Yeah.
And all my pairs, all of them, donkey and the unicorn, trial and error. So did you teach yourself how to bead?
Lazy stitch, yes, I did. I taught myself how to do lazy stitch. I want to say I know how to peyote stitch, but the one who taught me how to do peyote stitch was my grandma.
Okay.
She taught me how to do peyote stitch, and then after that, like, I just took off. Like same with this wrap beading, I taught myself. And
So did you just watch YouTube videos or
um,
asking around, doing your research?
actually, I watched a Facebook video and I seen like a minute of it, and I was like, oh, I can figure that out, and I did.
You young ones are just such fast learners.
And then like I like whenever people show their process of their beadwork, their quill work, is because you can also like they share their tips, and it's kind of cool that there are some people out there that are willing to share and everything.
Nice. You'll have to go back and watch Trisha show. She was giving us little insider tips on her sewing, inside trader tips
Yeah.
about sewing. And then, so for your crown and sash, then those were made by another artist, right?
Yeah. I think her name is Noella Redhawk, I think. This one. And then I think my sash is made by Sherry Wright. So there's that one.
Nice. And then your set you have on, did you make that yourself too?
I made my little buffaloes and my necklaces. That's what I
So have you thought about making your artwork into like a sustainable income or things like that? Or do you make stuff and sell it, or just mostly make it for family and friends?
For right now, I usually make them for family and friends, but eventually I do want to, expand and, make a little business or whatever,
Mhm.
and to be able to have my artwork around.
Nice, you can definitely sell. So do you go to, so for you, what's giving back to the youth or the community? Do you go and teach classes or someone asks you?
So giving back to the youth, I would say, if, teach them like the process or whatever, like, I don't know.
Like what you told me, don't just do it, just try and
Yeah,
trial and error.
yeah, and encourage them, and like all the youth, they just need encouragement and in a positive way. And
Was that how it was for you being younger and then learning how to do all this stuff?
yeah, it was,
Encouragement.
yeah, because everybody like some of my aunties would say, oh, well, we want a pair of earrings, or you want this and this, or, and like I did end up making them pair of earrings or stuff like that. They gave me a lot of encouragement, and yeah.
I want a pair of earrings. I want some Hannah Roubideaux original. Nice. And then, so Hannah also sings and plays hand games. And did you guys just win a tournament at Founders Day
Yeah,
or third place?
we took third place. It was just me and my sister.
What? Why did you guys call me? Well, I was up in Montana, but playing, you know me, I love hand games. That's kind of where our relationship got really stronger too, with that, when we did hand games a lot and singing. So when did you start playing hand games? Were you here?
I was here, and I want to say back in elementary, so like 4th or 5th grade. But how it brought to my attention was with this after school program called Octiapi. Yeah, so they're the ones that taught us how to play hand games and how to sing and all this and that, and it just continued to grow.
You like it now, huh?
Yep.
You play adult hand games?
Yeah, I do.
That's so weird for me that are you 18 now?
Yeah, I'm about 20.
Oh, there, see, the time just flies by. The time flies by. That makes me feel old, Hannah. I thought you were still 18. Your mom's probably laughing at me right now. So when you're doing your beadwork or your artwork, like, do you feel that connection between I know when I'm beading, I just kind of automatically feel that connection between those have went on, just, being totally immersed
Yeah.
into the artwork, and those who have gone on before and made sacrifices so we could sit here. So we could sit here and talk about it and talk about the process. Does that go through your mind too?
Yeah, like the history and how, how we were able to receive our beads and how to, make our own little history and all this and that. Like, it's pretty cool to see, antique beadwork and all this and that. It's really cool.
And Hannah always, I've noticed in all her designs, there's always a dragonfly. So is there a particular reason why you chose the dragonfly?
Yeah, there is a particular reason. So I am a type 1 diabetic, and whenever I first started beading was back in 2013. And that's when I was first diagnosed. And my older sister, she gave me this necklace, like I had a little dragonfly on it. And she told me that the Lakota way, that means that it's means strength and strong. So that's the whole meaning why I put dragonflies in my beadwork. It's because of my sister.
I love it. Yay, Connor. Connor will be on the winter camp series, February 22nd. So, she is, I guess in layman's terms or whatever, it would be called performance art, but she has a lot of knowledge with, hand game songs and then, women's games and stuff like that. So Hannah does sing too. I don't know if she's gonna sing us the song. I've been trying to coax her into it. Like I said, she used to help my little singers when I was teaching in Crow Creek. So what got you into singing? Did you just like it? Was it just automatic?
Well, not gonna lie, like I watched my sister, like whenever she played hand games or whatever, and like whenever I was younger, and they're like all encouraging us to all sing, so I took upon it myself to sing. And then like once like I started singing, like the other kids, I think they felt comfortable, so then they would start singing, so then we would all sing together.
So kind of that support, did that give you confidence when they were supported like that?
Yeah.
Nice, I love it. So when it was just you and Hannah, did both of you sing?
Yeah, we did.
I meant you and Connor, sorry.
Yeah, like at first, I would start singing and then she'll go in and then she'll mess me up and then I have to restart all over.
So with hand games, it was just you and her, kind of off the subject, when it was just you and her versus a whole team, how did you guys do that?
We just got it done. We just like, I had a pair of bowls, she had a pair of bowls, but we played intertribal,
Oh, okay.
so it was kind of easy.
So with hand games, there's two versions down here. There's a Lakota style where there's no kicker stick and you play with 16 sticks. And then there's intertribal where there's a kicker stick. Even the hand gestures are a little different. When we talk to Connor, she'll kind of go through the differences between the Lakota style and the intertribal. I play both because both my tribes hand games are really big. I am part Chippewa Cree, for those of you who don't know, so they call them stick games, hand games, but even the rules are a little different for intertribal versus Lakota. I prefer Lakota style because when I first started playing hand games, that's kind of where, games can go on forever, back and forth.
Yeah, because what do we call it? So I'm gonna say our second game, it went on for like 3 hours. And I didn't even notice. And I was like, what?
And then it's probably different when you're young because, when the games go long, when you're in
Yeah.
competition with younger teams, they start taking sticks away and after like the 2-hour mark or something.
Yeah.
But when you're so immersed in it and the songs and stuff like that, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's a good feeling too because we're joking and it was good. It felt good to be there.
Yeah. And so back to the hand games, the Lakota style, I used to teach hand games. And there is a story behind that. So we have, in our creation story, we have 16 sacred beings. When you play Lakota style hand games, there are 16 sticks, and that represents a tie to each one of those sacred beings. So that the story I was told with hand games is, it's so, I shouldn't take too much away, maybe I'll get into it with Connor too, was that, kind of like similar to the COVID pandemic. So way back when our ancestors were here, there, was this great sadness because we lost our leader when we emerged from Wind Cave, our original leader, and his friends or his warriors went out to go hunting, and accident happened, and he passed away. So they were bringing his body back, and then of course, fast forward, the people were just sad. It was a sad time because of this great loss. And so hand games came to us as a form of healing, the good medicine. And when you play hand games, you get, to me, it's not really even a competition. It's just the energy that the songs bring and the beat of the drum and just having that interaction with each other. So in those, when our people are experiencing hard times, it is said that that's when you play hand games because it brings that healing about. That's what those songs are for. There's very specific songs that, like the Widow song, that's still my favorite. Still my favorite. I love that song. So that's kind of the tie from that widow who lost her husband, lost a great leader, and those hand games came about. Did you guys learn that when you were,
Yeah.
whoever taught you hand games, the history behind it?
Hmm, I think so. I just don't
Just forgot
remember.
about it?
Yeah.
But hand games are really fun. Connor will talk more about it too. So do you guys have plans will they have adult tournaments here in Rapid City too?
Yeah.
Good.
So I want to say, I think that horse camp that they're doing,
Mhm.
I think they're gonna do little hand games or whatever. And then one of my friends, Jeremiah, he's gonna put on a hand game tournament, I think in Oklahoma. So we might go there.
Nice, nice. So they played intertribal where'd you guys go, Founder's Day?
Yeah, Founders.
They played intertribal there.
Yeah.
Were you a judge when you weren't playing?
No.
I don't like to, I mean, I can judge, but it gets a little,
Yeah.
people's personalities are different, and when they don't mesh with mine,
Yeah.
and
So like during alumni, I got to judge so like the adult tournaments, like where like different like companies, like the fire department, the police department, all this and that, they did a hand game tournament for them. And I got to be part of that, and I got to judge, the championship game. And like they're also still learning how to like play hand games and all this and that. And it was weird because like the cops, they like the policemen, they would look at me to like make sure it was okay to open and all this that, and I would tell them, yeah, it's okay.
you got to boss the cops around. Man, I missed out. I should have been a judge.
Yeah.
So kind of getting back to with your beating and stuff, for you, does it just, once you get started, is it just like a calming, like,
Yes, it does. Like creating art, just soothing and like just brings you comfort and all this that. Like, yeah.
yeah, especially do you beat a lot, or, so you kind of talked a little about your health issues that you have, and that's kind of what brought about your beating and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you utilize that to get over your difficult hardships in life, and then you start beating?
Yeah, I do. But like just recently, I haven't been beating, but I want to get back more into it and all this stuff. Yeah.
Nice. I like your earrings. Those are buffaloes, right?
Yeah.
Auntie wants a pair. All right. Let me see if we have any more questions here. So are you going to leave us with the song? We have about 14 minutes left. What else do you want to talk about? So you want to get into quill work too? Have you even started? Do you know how to quill yet, or just kind of learning?
So I taught myself how to like dye the quills. So I know the process of that, washing the quills, and
Don't use bleach.
yeah, I know.
Don't use soap. Dawn soap and water
Yeah.
are the best. Don't
Yeah.
use, for those of you out there who want to get into quilling, don't use bleach. I'm a former quill worker. Bleach actually, yeah, you think it's getting whiter, but when you have bleach, it hollows out your quills. When your quills are hollowed out, they're done for, they're ruined, you can't. And so, yeah, just soap, Dawn soap is the best because it gets like Like I said
Yeah.
before, those porcupines are so musky and greasy. It gets all that stuff off. And then, of course, dyeing them, what do you use? Like the synthetic grit dye?
Yeah, that's what I used. And then like one time I attempted Kool-Aid and it was so like a bright red, like this type of red. It
Mhm.
was like it was pretty. And
Yeah, you can use Kool-Aid too. People don't think it will get colors, but it does. You have to think of, so our ancestors didn't have these ties to they didn't have access to dyes that we have now, these chemical things like that. So their colors, if you look at old time, porcupine core gets still bright, but they knew what to look for in nature, like berries create your purples and pinks.
yeah, that's like one thing I want to try to attempt is like to like
You
dye with
can.
berries and all that because that would be cool to learn.
Do it on YouTube. It's easy. I really don't teach that much anymore, but if you have questions, I will help you. So it's really easy. You pound it up, any kind of materials you get in nature, you're gonna pound up. And the best, I swear, our ancestors were so smart. But the best are the berry pounders, the stone bowls.
Yeah.
It makes it easier, I guess, and you pound it into a powder. And then you put the powder in the water and let it dissolve and stir and stuff, and that's your dye.
That's cool.
It sounds hard because like me, I'm not, when I hear nature and bugs and I have curly hair and they're gonna get all caught in my hair. I don't have beautiful straight Indian hair that I always wanted. The bugs, but even like wild onion produces like a light yellow color. So even if you just do your research and ask around, people will help, hopefully.
Yeah.
If not, let me know and I will kind of help you. But like like choke cherries, buffalo berries, just the berries you find around here. Some of them produce that really nice red that you see on like old school porcupine quills. And of course, up in Dakota land, the choke cherries, they're brighter, or even in Minnesota, the berries up there are really nice too. So when you want to get into it, I'll give you the inside secrets and then you can pass them along. If I have time, I'm just so busy lately. So what's gonna be your next up and coming, got any events or anything like that going on?
No, not really. Probably just go to like Denver March powwow and get ready for that, and then I have to start getting ready for my special and get ready. Yeah, planning out my special and yeah.
What do you do? So those of you who aren't familiar with the royalty aspect of the powwow arena, kind of tell a little bit about like your special. What is that?
So my special, so like whenever I had my Miss Crow Creek title, I did a special because, it was giving back to the community to say thank you for letting me represent the tribe and be able to hold the title. So yeah, and then my family also wanted to honor me good because I stepped up and did that role. So it was cool. And like during my special, like I did a women's traditional special. And I think I did about 4 places and I gave out star quilts and I gave out like these goodie bags. I gave out sage and medicines and like a lot of things, and it was really good. And it was my first special too.
Did your mom cook? Wasn't she cooking?
Yeah, and we fed the people.
Mhm.
She did like a buffalo feed, like snack, and that was also her first time doing a buffalo feed and cooking buffalo and everything, and she did good. And yeah, it was also a learning process for us. So like whenever I give up my Miss Rosebud title, so I know a little bit more, whenever I do my next special.
Mhm.
So yeah.
That is a way bigger powwow. Well, I don't know, Crow Creek has good powwow too, but
Yeah.
Rosebud's always.
Yeah, my mom's like, we gotta do bigger. And I'm like, oh my God.
It's always so hot. Tell her that, remember, it's gonna be hot. It's the, Rosebud Powwow, the fourth weekend in August. Is it?
Yeah.
Yep, because it's
Weekend.
ours is the third weekend and then
Yeah.
Rosebud.
Like
When I say ours, I mean Hunkpati Dakota. She's part of Hunkpati Dakota, so.
Mhm.
Nice, well, you have to let me know, I could maybe make a set up and you can use it for one of your prizes for, I could just make like a couple, how many places are you gonna do a special, like a traditional or?
So it's up in the air doing like both the women's and men's traditional special right now.
Both?
Yeah, because I want to.
I'll just do some for the women.
Because also like whenever I represent my title for Rosebud, I think about, my grandpas and all this and that. So
It's true.
I want to honor my grandpas in a good way. So I think I'm gonna,
Do both.
yeah, do both. Yeah.
Well, since this is being taped, I'll do stuff for the women's and then you
Yeah.
can find. And that this kind of circles back around to before we even started the show, when we were out in the parking lot talking with Don. And he saw that Hannah is Miss Sicangu and he was talking about regalia, Don Montello. And he told us the story about kind of how his regalia came together for when he started dancing.
Yeah.
How different artists made different pieces of his regalia, and how when he's getting ready and he's putting his regalia on, he thinks about each one of those artists that made that, like, what do you say, Arthur Amiel's mom made his moccasins. Oh, that's awesome. And he just talked about all these different artists that made each piece of those regalia, and how when he's getting ready and he goes out into the circle, how you're not the same person anymore, and you're out there dancing for those people or for the people, and you don't even realize, like you're tired or anything like that. You just
That
keep
your
dancing.
spirit feels good. That just comfort, just being comfort. And that's like how I feel like it's good that, that I was able to learn all this, and that, I'm slowly bringing back our history, and it feels good. It really does. It feels good.
For me, it feels good to see the up and coming youth retain this knowledge and want to carry it on. And that's, that's as tired as I am. That's why I like doing these things. Got to race back to Montana after this, but let me see if we have any questions, and then, oh, your mom's on. If you want to say hi. Hi, Marilyn. How you doing? I don't get to visit with you. Visiting with Hannah though. So we have about 5 minutes if anybody wants to ask a question of Hannah. And it can't be her mom, Marilyn. It can't be her. So are you thinking about, are you in school? Are you thinking about
Yeah,
the future, or just trying to get through?
I'm just trying to get through, and
Well, keep up everything, man. I really appreciate you coming to do this show and really representing not only your tribe, but your generation, and how you guys want to give back to the community, and you're still doing all this other activism in your communities too, because a lot of people don't see that, they just think it's older people and not the younger people.
yeah.
So it's good to see your people involved in the community, and not only doing the cultural arts. Like I said, you were out at the walk for Save the Children and things like that. So awesome, yay! Thank you so much, Pidamia. So thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll have some more shows is it next week already? Gosh, I think it is next week. So we have, I'll put a plug in for next week's show, the 22nd, which is Wednesday at 7 p.m. Through the Winter Camp series. We'll have Hannah's sister Connor talking about the hand games and Plum Games, the women's plum games. On the 23rd, we'll have artist Cicely Rose. She does parfleche, painted parfleche. She apprenticed under Mike Martin, and she also opened up her own little small business. So we'll talk to her about that too. On the 25th, we'll be doing another hybrid show like this with Draw Follows the Road, who is a quill artist. Oh my gosh, she does amazing, amazing work. It's awesome. So if you want to follow her before the show on the 25th, I'll be back here in Rapid City the 25th to do that hybrid show. And then on the 28th, we will have Michael Patton from Lakota Art Studios. He does screen printing. He's in college right now down in Santa Fe. So his will be, of course, live streamed over Zoom. He can't make it up here. I'll be in Montana, but thank you again, Hannah. Hopefully she can make a guest appearance when Connor does her show. And they can. I was trying to get her to sing here, but she doesn't want to. So maybe when she's with Connor, they'll belt out some good hand game song.
Yeah.
All right. Petu Washe, you happy. Everybody have a good day. I'm gonna say go Rihanna halftime show. I am not interested in any of the teams. I just want to make it back to watch, listen to her. Right?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
You're silly.